The British media usually is flooded with hateful nonsense when it comes to refugees. But on Talk TV this week, someone cut through the lies.
My commonality here is I don't want people in hotels. I don't want no one wants taxpayers' money being wasted over £5 million a day on hotels. What we need to be doing to solve this problem is simple: make asylum decisions. Because when people are in the asylum system, they're not allowed to work. A lot of people don't realise that. Yeah. People in the asylum system are legally prevented from working in the UK. They're legally prevented from working. They're legally prevented from paying tax, contributing, and taking care of their family. And every person I've ever met that has come to the UK wants to contribute, work, and take care of their family. So why can't we let them? Why can't we make those asylum decisions? What is the point in having an Afghan person, an Iranian person, where we know they can't return to their home country? What's the point in leaving them festering in a hotel with the far right screaming abuse and setting light to cars? Give them status. Get them going, get them working, and get them out of the hotels, get them contributing. That's what people want. So let's just do that. Let's just take all
and we need the workers.
We need the workers.
And we need the workers. Exactly. We're desperate. Fruit pickers and anything.
Yeah. This is pointless. These pointless arguments that are eye-wateringly expensive, that are terrifying for the people in those hotels. It's a pointless, divisive rhetoric that I'm afraid to say has been led by our politicians. When we have a Home Secretary that stands in Parliament and says we are being invaded, we're not being invaded. The numbers are tiny. Proportionately, we're talking about the same amount of people that goes to watch Man United in Old Trafford on a Saturday coming here in the course of a whole year. Look at the world. Look at all of the conflict. Look at all of the poverty, the exploitation, the persecution. Can we not take a few thousand people and let them work and let them take care of their families in peace? That's all we want.
That was Lou Calvi, who you heard from there. If you recognise her, maybe because we've had her on Novara Media recently, but there she was putting forward that message to, presumably the predominantly right-wing audience from Talk TV. Ash, I thought that was just so impressive, that articulation of the argument made there.
It is just such an effective communication strategy, which is taking the frame of right-wing myths and almost just turning them inside out. So rather than starting from the defensive of going, oh, well, actually, asylum seekers don't get that much, or oh, no, actually, you go, yeah, you know what? It is too expensive. And that's because they're running it prioritizing cruelty over common sense, humane decisions. And it's bringing all these things into alignment. What makes the most sense and what's most efficient, what's most humane, and also what's most cost effective. So in a hostile media setting, and of course Trisha Goddard is not as hostile someone to be interviewed by as, say, like a Mike Graham or a Nick Ferrari kind of figure, but Talk TV generally is a hostile media space. To take the right wing and anti asylum seeker frame, turn it inside out like that, works really, really well. And also putting the blame on politicians and saying, look, they're the ones pursuing this totally, bananas policy, one which just leaves people in limbo for ages. It's, absolutely debilitating on their physical and their mental well-being. And it's such an inefficient use of public funds. Well, it's because politicians are leading the argument in a way where they can only respond with more cruelty. So I thought that was a really effective way to communicate. And it's tough, right? It's tough to make the case. I guess just standing up for the basic humanity of asylum seekers, because it feels like the entirety of the media landscape is either deeply, deeply hostile. You see the language of invasions and front lines being, taken up by the conveyor belt of mainstream media, lifted right out of the pamphlets of the far right. But interventions like this, they matter and they are useful. even though they're in this hostile space. Maybe one person, maybe two people hear that, and they go from being undecided to being more sympathetic. And you know what? Job's a good one.